Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Y'all know what it is. Three Kings Boxing. As always, go to threekingboxing.com for the latest and greatest what's going in the sport of boxing. Joining me to do this interview, of course, is senior writer and one of the top guys that we got writing for us at Three Kings Boxing. Of course, the host of Pound for Pound Boxing Talk, Mr. Michael Williams Jr. How you doing, man?
What's going on,
Wilson.
Bo? What's going
My
on?
bad, Michael Wilson Jr. Damn, I should know your name.
No problem. No problem. What's going on, Bo? What's going on, Mr. Hunter? What's going on?
Good, good, good.
And of course, you guys know who that is. That is the WBC number six, the WBO number six, and the WBA number two ranked heavyweight, Mr. Michael Hunter. What's going on, man?
What's going on? What's going on?
All right, man. So as always, we start out. I'm gonna ask the question first. I'm gonna kick it over to my man. The question I got for you, man, is a lot of people only probably know you from the time when you decided to go down to cruiserweight and you took on Usyk. In
Right.
that fight, a lot of people don't know you hadn't fought in almost a year. But even in that fight, to me, it seems like your stock should have risen because you didn't seem like you was 100%. But even Usyk was having a tough time with you, and even with you seemed like he was kind of tired. He still couldn't just have his way with you, man. So what is the difference between that fight and who you are now?
Well, I have a stronger team as much as boxing is an individual sport. There's a business and a team behind everything. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that you can miss out on. Especially the making weight stuff. I'm used to fighting at heavyweight. Um, Making weight for me is kind of was a unknown territory. Not unknown, but not as familiar as normal. Uh, so I think that I got a new team, and obviously I'm more experienced now. But I think that a lot of it has to do with me being more experienced with the business and how to play it.
Okay, okay. And then another question, man. Um, I think your name really isn't that known within boxing circles, and that could be because you're not with a big entity. For example, when you fought Alexander Povetkin, I thought you should have won that fight, right? And I think that might have been a situation of you not having the name and nobody behind you. Do you think that the reason why you being high risk, low reward, that a lot of these guys ain't like everybody's calling you, but nobody's actually stepping in the ring with you? Do you think that's because you're not with the big entity?
Yeah, I think that I'm not being pushed by a big entity. I don't think it's me not being with one. I think that's different. I think being with an entity, a big company, and being pushed by one is two different things. Um, when I was with the big companies, I never really got the big fights when I was supposed to get them. So, yeah, I think that that has a lot to do with it.
Okay, then. All right, Mike, the floor is yours, man.
We're certainly going to get into you and your career for sure in depth, but I'm going to piggyback on the topic of Bo's first question. Um, the boxing world is still reverberating from, still talking about Usyk's win over Anthony Joshua a week ago. You were the one of the few, not few, but in the minority who kind of gave warning signals about Usyk and how he was going to be a tough opponent for AJ. You received pushback from that from folks on social media, on message boards and whatnot. Um, in the aftermath, what did you see that most others didn't, and just the overall assessment of that fight?
Well, I kind of seen it just like how I would see it. I think that when you talk about business, if they wanted to stick to the motto, uh, somebody needs to be fired on Anthony Joshua's team, uh, especially the strategist. The game plan was all wrong. I think, but I called it. I said the same thing I said. Just because now everybody's pumping up Anthony Joshua and his newfound skills because he's starting to be a boxer now, and he's we all know that Anthony Joshua's learning on the job. It's not a secret. I think that Anthony sometimes uh, forgets it sometimes, but I think that he knows, and he mentions it as well. But I think that this was just a bad fight. I mean, he lost to Andy Ruiz, a chubby kid. You know what I'm saying? You think he was going to beat Usyk? And then his game plan, he already automatically said he was going to box him. I think it was a bad idea. I knew he was going to try to box him because of this newfound skill of him outboxing Andy Ruiz in the second fight and boxing Pulev, or doing pretty good with Pulev. I think that their idea was try to box him. I even heard him again thinking that they were gonna in the rematch, be better at boxing. And I just think that they have the wrong approach, and it's has a lot to do with inexperience. The guys on their team, the strategy, all of them. I think they need to get out of there.
Let's stick on the point about bad strategy. That's a consistent theme that I've heard from folks in the aftermath of the fight. Some have argued for a new trainer. Many have argued for a new trainer, but I've also heard calls for AJ to leave the safe space of the UK and maybe move his operations for a brief time overseas, specifically the United States. We've seen that before with fighters from Europe. I believe Tony Yoka, who's a heavyweight prospect contender, he's working out on the East Coast with Andre Ward's former trainer. His name escapes me right now.
Yeah,
Do you think that not Virgil Hunter, thank you. Do you think it's more than just the fact of him changing trainers, but he maybe need to move his base of operations to the United States to incorporate a little more into his style?
I mean that could be probably a strategy or something that could help him. I don't know if that's the main thing. I think that I'm not. I don't know him too personally like that, but one thing is he needs to get a few of those people on this team, or everybody on this team needs to get replaced. Just because of like, for me to be able to basically tell you what he was going to do before the fight happened, weeks and weeks before the fight was going to happen, and to say exactly how the fight was going to end or how it was going to happen about him trying to be the boxer, it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? There's a rule in boxing is fight the boxers and box the fighters, and for him to you know try to do that with Usyk, who's only a pure boxer, was, I think, just the wrong game plan. But I feel like he got put to a certain test. He kind of shied out a little bit. I think that it was a very poor response from him in the last round, in the last seconds, and I think they even cut some seconds off. We're hearing they cut some seconds off in the last seconds of the last round of the fight, and he just his arms was on the rope and the fight was over. You know what I'm saying? I just think that he reacted poorly, and he didn't seem like a guy that wanted to win. So. I think that, yeah, they just need to re-strategize. I mean, if they're going with the business model, that was definitely, even the business, I think, was a bad business move to fight Usyk. I tip my hat off of him for getting in the ring because I was betting that he wasn't even gonna get in there. I thought it was kind of I think that's one of his. He tried to pick the hardest fight for himself, and maybe it was very admirable of him, but I think that he just bit off too much more than he could chew.
Let's go to Usyk right quick. You've been in the ring with him 2019. Serious argument that you gave him the toughest fight of his career, right? In short, you predicted that he was going to box his shoes off. He has the titles now. What makes Usyk such a difficult opponent?
Well, he's very balanced. He doesn't, and he has very little. He's not really a macho man type of guy. He's not in there for the brute. You know what I'm saying? To prove anything. Um, he does what is needed, and I think that's a very good quality to have in boxing. To do nothing more than and nothing less. So I admire him about that. Um, he's kind of when Floyd was like that. He didn't overshoot himself. He didn't push too hard, and he didn't sit back. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where Usyk he has a good pace on him, and I think he did really good for his fight with Anthony Joshua.
In short, he knows when to hold, knows when to fold him.
Yeah.
This fight happened in principle because Usyk was and his team was steadfast and dogmatic about their mandatory status with the WBO. I want to transition to you and your career and some controversy that involved you earlier this year. There was an opportunity for you to fight Filip Hrgović for an IBF eliminator, with the winner would have been in a position to become IBF mandatory, right? Reports are that you turned that fight down. There was a negative reaction to that news in social media and again on message boards. I want to get it straight from the horse's mouth here. Clarify that situation. Did you turn that opportunity down? If so, why?
Yeah. Well, it was turned down because it was bad business. Everybody knows in boxing, is we're in the business of boxing, and I think Eddie Hearn, Team Sarlin, were not working well with each other. They were, kind of trying to get deals with me on some solo tips and stuff like that. And I think that it was just a bad business move. And they talked my guy out of the purse bid. Anybody who was following it, Triller. They talked Triller out of the purse bid, and Eddie Hearn was the only person to bid on that fight. And it was just a whole game plan. It was just, they did a lot of extensions. They never emailed us. It was bad business, and it was an easy one to call. My original plan was to fight Hrgović on Triller. But when Triller said that, they didn't want to work and do any business with these type of people, and they just decided to do a deal with me personally, it was a no-brainer.
There was no situation where there could have been a wiggle room between Triller and Hearn to make that fight happen, because on a personal end, that's a fight I would like to see.
I think that fight can easily happen. I just think the money was wrong. That they were trying to get, Eddie Hearn was with Hrgović on his last fight. So they were trying to secure contracts either with me or with Hrgović. Team Sarlin, who's really owned with Hrgović, is not, has their own motives and what they wanted to do with Hrgović and didn't want to re-sign and stuff like that. And so I just think that it was just bad business. It would have been just a mess. You know what I'm saying? And it was much smoother business move to fight with Triller and exclusively with Triller for the Madison Square Garden, the verses, and you seen how that went. So if you see everybody else, nobody. It wasn't that I ran from him. Nobody accepted the fight on the IBF, and he ended up fighting somebody that was not even ranked. So what happened to that? You know what I'm saying?
Any upset feelings in the aftermath, because now you're not even in the IBF rankings? I find that odd.
Nah. It is what it is. It's a business. I can't be mad. See, the thing is Hrgović doesn't do his own business. You know what I'm saying? So he has to, wait and wait and wait, and that's why he was mad, because he's waiting. I'm not waiting for my career. I'm doing what's needed. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing what I need to do. So, I think that fight, is still possible. Triller want to put up the money to make it happen, but it's really, hey, I've had to do the same thing. Everybody's running for me. Everybody, I'm a hard fight, high risk, low reward. Call it what you want. you know, the business, the people that are in the industry, kind of force the people that are like me. We have to play the game. You know what I'm saying? We can only uh, be dogmatic fighters for so long.
Now you talked about that you signed an exclusive deal with Triller. Um, your first fight was in August. Um, I'll say, unfortunately, you fought against and beat up a guy who shares my same name. I don't know how I feel about that, but still, um, talk about the relationship between you and Triller now. Uh, uh, Positive, negative. Your thoughts so far, so early in this deal.
No, no, it's good. I think my relationship is a good one. I think that they're still the new company. They're still learning about the boxing side of the industry, and as far as entertainment and throwing shows. So when that happens, there's always ever changing and new things happening. Already daring, risky. Uh, you know, they bet on themselves, and that's the type of person I am. Period. So it was an easy match. Like I said, the relationship is great. Um, but I think they have a lot. There's a lot of people being moved in and out and stuff like that. But that's typical when it comes to brand new company when they're of this magnitude so fast.
Um, we talked about began this conversation talking about Joshua and Usyk. I can't have you on and not ask you about the big fight that's happening next week, the trilogy between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Uh, the fight is happening October 9th. It was initially supposed to happen on the 24th of July. It was postponed because Fury tested positive for COVID. You was in that camp with Fury, and you made some comments that kind of raised my eyebrow. You said he wasn't doing well in the gym up till then. Um, Quoting you said he wasn't doing too well in the gym, but not enough to call off the fight. To me, it was kind of funny because the first day they said somebody on his team got COVID, and then the next day we heard that Tyson got COVID. So I thought that was a little fishy. Um, do you want to expand on those comments in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah, I
how he
know.
wasn't looking good and in the fishy part? What do you
It's
mean?
it's funny because you gotta kind of watch. I guess watch what you say. But when I said that he wasn't, people like to think that I didn't. I don't think he was doing horrible. We seen him with a black eye. You know what I'm saying? But to me, that seems like that he's actually working. That's gym stuff. You always gonna get a black eye. I never seen him. He wasn't getting knocked out and beat up and stuff like that. Wasn't you know? So I think people just they took it and ran with it. But uh, to me, I wasn't seeing Deontay Wilder in the gym at all, and for him to have a little scruffle and me hearing some things that he such got the best of him blah 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 today means that he's doing the rounds. You don't really when you're training for a fight is you don't know what the guy's working on. It's a little different, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the fight though, I would have put my money on Tyson even with me saying that, you know what I'm saying? I think Tyson Fury is going to edge it out. So I think that people just took my words and kind of, but I did think it was a little fishy as far as them saying that somebody had COVID because that's how I heard it. It came out they didn't say who had COVID, and then they said the next day that Tyson Fury had COVID, which I just thought that was if he would have had COVID, that would have been the first thing that came out. So why would it be now that he has COVID? They said somebody on his team, but you never know. The media, everything we don't know. It's playing telephone. We don't know who told what, who told who.
All right, hold on, Mike, hold on, because I gotta ask this question. I gotta ask this question. Now, with that being said, Mike, you are also quoted as saying, I think I'll stop Wilder very easily. Now, that is a profound statement to make. about a guy that's considered one of the hardest punchers in the game. And there's a lot of people that gave you flack about that, man. Do you still believe that even right now?
Yeah, definitely. It's almost like they gave me a hard time for Anthony Joshua. I was a hater just a minute ago, and now that it happened, what am I now? I'm probably still a hater. So you know, uh, me and Deontay, we know each other. I've been in the ring with him. It's not. Uh, I just feel like I would eat him alive on any day. That's just me, man. I just Anthony. I feel the same way about Anthony Joshua. A lot of the guys, my friends and trainers and people in the gym, they think Anthony Joshua would be an easier fight. I was thinking, Deontay or Tyson. Deontay always has a it factor because he has a big bomb, but mechanically he has the worst mechanics out of all of them. Ortiz was beating him, you know what I'm saying? And we don't even know how old he is. So, I just don't see him beating me on my worst day.
Okay.
So
and then
go
of
ahead,
course, my bad, I'm sorry. Then of course you got Dylan White. Now you was calling him out also as well. Supposedly you was an interest of his for his upcoming fight. What happened with that situation? With that was that an Eddie Hearns? I'm just throwing some names out there, but we know who he really fighting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. They just trying to just put some publicity out there. Um, yeah, my name is always being brought up. I know, when Dillian White's there, and they always bring up Dillian White, in every interview that I do. So it seems like the people want that fight. I just felt like I feel the same way I feel about Deontay, that I would whoop him, and he know it. That's all.
He know it.
I ain't
so
no disrespect. I mean,
He know. Yeah, but to say he know it though, you say he know it.
I
Go
feel
ahead.
like about Deontay.
Okay.
I couldn't see him. I don't know. I just couldn't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
All right. Go ahead, Mike, and then we got some questions.
so you so Malik Scott and Wilder have been talking a lot about this new style, and he's more adaptable and more of a boxer, blah blah blah. You saying that he's basically a one-trick pony. You won't see it until you believe it, and because of that, uh, you eat him alive and expose him in the same way that Fury did in the second fight.
Yeah, it's almost like Usyk. Anthony Joshua getting better in boxing. How he got better with Pulev and Anthony Joshua. That's good. With Andy Ruiz, he did get better and he did get good. But for somebody that's a pure boxer, that's even better for us, because now he's like on level 2 of boxing skill. You get what I'm trying to say? And I'm higher. He has to fight somebody. You have to outfight me. Now I can't outfight that big dude. You know what I'm saying? He's a big dude. He's young. He's, you know what I'm saying? He's a thoroughbred. Does it make sense for me to be trying to outmuscle big muscle head? You feel me? Does it make sense? No. So why would he try to outbox me? Why would he try to out sprint a sprinter? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. And I think Deontay Wilder is gonna do a lot better when it comes to certain things. I think he's gonna have a little bit of different eye, because Malik Scott, I think that was the best move that he could have did for Deontay Wilder. I don't know about Malik training everybody or whoever, but I think for Deontay, it was a good move. I think Deontay respects him. I think they're good friends. Malik is a boxing brain, so he knows what he's talking about. He's definitely going to add some different eyesight, but he's not going to be able to change his movement, the physical. He's going to be who he is at some point. He might have with the big hammer. you don't really need to do much. You just need to just adjust and fine tune. So hopefully they're not doing too much and got him trying to box and be on his feet, because that's not him. He needs to be exactly who he needs to be and just learn a step or two, and keep it easy. So hopefully they just been practicing on some very simple moves that would do him some service in this fight coming up.
Okay, so let's look at when you look at the heavyweight division, right? Now, a lot of people don't know. You gave Sergey Kuzmin his first loss. You gave Martin Bacoli his first loss. And by the way, I think after you gave him that loss, Bacoli won a fight, I think sometime in 2020, and he had your name in his mouth looking to fight you again. I don't know what happened with that.
Respect
But
him for that one.
yeah, but when you look at the heavyweight division, um, not as it stands right now, everybody's busy, right? You got the Usyk, Anthony Joshua rematch. Of course, you got Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. So you got other guys out there, and then matter of fact, there's been some questions in here. Somebody said they would like to see. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, this was somebody said right here. Here's something from one of the people watching right now. They said we need Hunter versus Helenius versus Kalnaki.
No.
How do you feel? How do you feel about either one? But I mean, because I think one of them guys is actually rated higher than you, one of them organizations.
Yeah, that's because they on the other side.
Okay.
But nah, that ain't no good fight. Y'all would just be watching me beat up somebody.
All right, here's another one right here. It says Ask Hunter, since Mark Demora entered the WBO rankings at number 8 out of the blue, is he a possible opponent in November?
Yeah, maybe. I'm supposed to fight anybody in the top 10. Uh, you know, we're working on to fight for some type of title, but definitely he's in the top 10 of the WBA. So yeah, we're looking for him.
All right. Now people are throwing some names out there. They're saying that you got a guy, um, number 13, Ars Lembeck, Makumadov.
If they're not in the top 10, probably not, because I'm trying to move up in the ranks. It ain't gonna do me no justice to fight anybody under 10. The way the game goes. So if they're not really in the top 10, then really I probably don't have my eye on them.
Okay. So if it was up to you, man, and there's somebody right now that you could reach out and touch, like, is there somebody particularly right now that gets your blood boiling? Like, if you see him just on the street, the hell with a ring, I'll punch him in his face.
Oh, dang. I don't really got nobody like that.
Ain't nobody fucking with you like that, Mike?
Nah, nah, I don't got no real beef.
Okay.
Nah,
Okay.
but if I
So,
had to ring with a few people, it'll be them three.
mhm.
It'll be those three, and then Usyk to top it off with a little.
Okay. You got Lady Chan in here. She said, "Hey, Mike." Lisa Balls is in here. Lisa Bells, I'm sorry, is in here. L Dub, uh, skirting board, virtuoso. Everybody's in here, man. So you're bringing the people in, man.
What's up?
Um,
What's up? Shout out.
looking at the heavyweight division, looking at that landscape right now, man. And I know you said that some of these guys know you beat him, but it's going to be hard for you because a lot of these guys are with the more established entities, like Usyk's over there at the Zone, Tyson Fury is with Top Rank, Wilder is with, of course, PBC. um how do you break that barrier? Because it has to be like you're one of those guys that for a fact that if you was with one of those, you should have been got the shot, or you think that they would be holding you back because you would upset whatever plans they got going.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that was one of the reasons I was let go for the Zone. I had moved up through their little, it's feeling like I was Bruce Lee fighting all the little levels, and once I got to the top, they booted me out of there. So, uh, yeah, I just think that that's the layout. I have to and I it's not an easy route, and this the thing that I'm doing, I guess, is not for everybody. Everybody's a little different. Everybody has, like, Anthony Joshua. I'm not Anthony Joshua. I didn't get that route. Everybody has their own thing. So mine, I think I would have to. I'm not really with any of the major guys. I'm not saying that I would be obliged to being with them, but as of right now, I feel like I just work it out as best as I can. I could fight, so just put them in the ring. I think that's where I do my due diligence. Is I have to fight my way through it, work my way through the rankings. These sanctioning bodies, and get my face familiar, because these guys are. I'm competing with uh, industries, not just fighters, but I'm competing with people with that's in the industry, the companies. These guys are having shows and talking to the sanctioning bodies on a daily basis, and it's just me out here, doing my own business, trying to work up through the rankings myself, and getting myself into the best position.
All right, now before I turn back over to my Mike, I got a question for you, man. Fighters normally get ridiculed for this question I'm gonna ask you, man. Is there anybody in the heavyweight division today or in yesteryears in the past that could beat on his game, on point, 100% focused Michael Hunter?
Woo! No. I think that's game. He's game for anybody. I can't say I guarantee victory, but I guarantee that I'm gonna be a problem for anybody in any era. Um, yeah, so that's what I would say.
All right, man. That's that. You. So not only are you a fighter, you're a diplomat. I see that now. Okay, man. All right, Mike. Go ahead, man.
This question, sorry, I had technical issues on my hand. My apologies for that. Um, my last and final question is not specific towards you, but kind of an overall state of the game. Um, Oscar Valdez in his last fight tested positive for PEDs, but because of issues between state commissions and testing organizations, VADA versus WADA, he was ultimately allowed to fight. That caused an uproar, outrage, not only among fans, but among many fighters who felt that he should not have been allowed to participate, right? Should not be allowed to defend the belt, even strip. Um, that spurned a lot of accusations about the issues of performance enhancing drugs in the sport. Fighters chimed in. I even heard folks suggest, imply, if not outright say, that um, it's prevalent throughout boxing. Um, I've always wanted to ask a fighter about that. I wanted to do that to you right now. Your thoughts on the issues of the Valdez situation and the larger issue of possible PED use in the sport. How
Yeah,
rampant is it?
yeah, I think that it has definitely been a problem in all sports. Obviously, combat is going to be just as major, because it's the biggest machismo sport we could have. So there's always going to be cheats in the game, whether it's with PEDs or any other things, egg weights, you know special water or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be some type of something that people are trying to gain the edge. Obviously, that's unfortunate. I think that what really sucks is the actually way they tested. The the overseers. I think is what sucks, is because they're going to allow more cheating to continue to happen. So I think that it was a bad thing for the sport, for him to not get any punishment when they kind of did that with the Canelo situation, and that was like the second time, and they're all on the same team and all that. It kind of looks fishy. So it's not a secret, and it sucks, But what can we do? We got to do the best you can do. Uh, Usually the guys that are doing this are the guys that have the upper hand, or are with these big companies or with a big team. Uh, you know, have a lot of money behind them. These are the guys that are able to get away with it, pay for it, and still be able to pay for it to get away with it. So, uh, and it just depends on what side you're on. So it is definitely unfortunate, but I mean, it's the game we live in. I don't make the rules; I just play them.
Seems for every big baby Miller who seems to have the old Eastern European block just mega super cocktail in his system. You got situations with uh, in controversies around Valdez and, as you said, Canelo. Do you think, as a result, there should be one major governing sanctioning body? Because the issue was with VADA, VADA versus WADA, WADA. Do you think there needs to be one uniform body to help prevent all of this and all this confusion?
Yeah. Like you said, that's the best way they could continue to cheat is just to continue to make more, uh, you know, situations for them to be more holes and loopholes and things to go around it. If we was only one sanctioning body, we'd all have to go through the same situation. It'd be a little more strict, but I think it's a little bit too played and too far gone to do that. And everybody's trying to gain ground and get that next bag. And I think it's unfortunate that the business of it is turned into it's a thin line between business and cheating, and uh, you know and PEDs and stuff like that. And you also got to think like there's new. I think a lot of stuff has to change when it comes to that because there's new technologies. I think they have to decide what is recovery, because we're athletes. We're combat athletes. We get hit all day long. So I think there's certain things that we should be able to take to recover. Certain processes we should be able to go through, and there should be type of maybe studies or programs or something like that. It's almost like even for football, how these guys are getting hit over the head, and they're getting all this head trauma. It's the same thing for boxing. I think that if we had something a little bit more structured, it would be a lot better for us. But boxing come from a poverty. It's the poverty sport, only sport you really don't got to go to college to be professional in, and so that just leaves a lot of holes for a lot of foolery.
Yeah, if I say I want to clarify myself, I may have said for every Dillian White when I meant to say for every big baby Miller who's on that old Eastern European cocktail.
I
Got the situation. Okay, my bad. That's my final question, Bo. I'll go to you to wrap things up.
All right, then, man. I just got people are definitely staying stuff in there. People are actually getting on. People want to see you and Hokovich fight. That's mainly what they're talking about. They want to see that fight.
Man, let's put up the money. We'll get it.
Yeah, they saying Hokovich should go to Triller. They saying that you're more accomplished than he is.
That's right. That's right. And there was nothing for me else to fight for other than the bag when it comes to Hergovich, because he's doesn't really have a name. He's not really a nobody. I'd rather fight somebody like a Joe Joyce. Somebody that I think Joe Joyce is a tougher fighter. I think Joe Joyce will stop Hergovich, to be honest. And but he got a name. You know what I'm saying? He's there. You know what I'm saying? You beat him. You got something. You got something under your belt. Who does Hergovich even beat?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see his last opponent?
Yeah, I did.
All those IBF, what happened to him fighting? He talking about me pulling out. He fought somebody worse. That wasn't even ranked. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
yeah.
That's how you know that they were doing bad business. They weren't really trying to make no moves. They didn't really want the fight to happen. They wanted to get over on me because I was an independent fighter, and they thought that I wasn't going to have Triller involved. And once they found Triller was involved, and Triller was knocking people out when it came to the purse bid at that time. You know, they just you know, made it dirty. You know, put the changed it up. You know, they were able to, you know, get Triller out of there. And, I mean, I've never heard of that. Nobody. Why would you even talk to, you know, my bidders? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't even
Right.
make sense. So
Right.
they never once. You're supposed to be in a email thread, all of us with the IBF, and we're all supposed to be talking and negotiating on what the price is and how much we're going to be fighting for, and blah blah blah. They never once emailed. They were emailing IBF on a solo mission when I was emailing them when everybody was seeing my my messages.
Mm.
So I was the only one over here being all honest Joe or whatever, and they over here behind my back, you know, talking to the IBF and blah blah blah, knowing that they were never going to contact me until the last 2 days to try to make a deal happen. We had a 35, 45 days to negotiate on where we're going to do the fight, how much we getting paid, blah, 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 blah. But I already knew right from the jump when they didn't contact me that they were taking it to purse bid. I didn't take it to purse bid. They took it to purse bid. I just had somebody that was going to beat them in the purse bid.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Okay. So this is a situation of they didn't win the purse bid, so this is what's happening.
Boy, let them put up that money for Hergovich. I promise you, I will do it straight just for the fans.
That's what they want to see. Now you mentioned
so entertaining.
You mentioned Joe Joyce. Now that's an intriguing fight to me because Joyce has a good chin. Joyce is somewhat of a good boxer, right? He's slow, methodical, takes his time, but he's also a thinker.
But yeah, he does. Yeah, exactly. He got some.
How would that fight go with Michael Hunter and Joe Joyce?
I think I'm a little too slick for him. I think that you know, I will hit him with some shots that he doesn't see. I think those are the differences between you know, just my strategy. I feel like I'm a strategist. I think that he would need to be hit with shots that, you know, he's big, juggernaut, you know, juggernaut head. So if he sees the shots, it's going to be harder to hurt him. You got to hit him with shots that he didn't even see. You know, he's wobbling and he don't even know. He's still throwing punches. Don't barely know he hurt. So I think that's how I would have him. I know that, you know, that wouldn't be an easy task because he is a force and a unit. But you know, I've seen him. You know, I've seen him in the gym over here sparring and sparring some guys. You know, I used to spar, and you know, I seen what I needed to see.
Okay.
I'm laughing at the fact you called him.
Yeah, you call him Juggernaut.
He is old big. I mean, he's athletic too. Big old dude, strong. You could tell he's durable, but you know, he just gonna walk into them shots. I don't know. I ain't really seen nobody just walking through shots that I'm about to be throwing.
Do you think the key to his arsenal is the jab? And if you take away that, then you got him?
Yes, I think that is it. But you know, that's not going to be an easy task because even though it's not like he's going to time you with it. It's consistent. He's just constantly putting it out there. I think that you would have to hit him around it, over it, under it, and you know, around that jab, get under that jab, and get over that jab to you know, have him a little weary, you know what I'm saying? Have him thinking about something. He doesn't seem like he thinks, but he just comes straight forward. He's a sprinter.
Okay. I'm trying to find, there was a very good question in here. Yeah. They said somebody mentioned about you and Daniel to both possibly fighting in the WBA final eliminator. How do you like that fight? Do you think you would do a better job than Joe Joyce did?
I like that fight. Well, I don't know. I think I would do. When you say better, I mean the outcome. What his outcome was a great outcome of him and Daniel Du Bois. I think the outcomes will be very similar. I think the approaches will be different. That's all.
Okay, and two more questions, and one of them one of them is funny. One. You know, we saw the video of Deontay Wilder twerking, man. Are we ever gonna see anything like that? Of Michael Hunter out there doing something like that, man?
Twerking?
Yeah.
Oh, no. You might see me
I
try to
hope not.
but,
I hope not.
but twerking, nah.
Nah.
You ain't gonna see no twerking out of me, bro.
All right, man. And then, what do you think is hurting the sport of boxing? If you are a student of the game, you remember the days where you got those fights you wanted to see. Most of the time, and I said it before, in the 80s and 90s, everybody didn't fight everybody. Like, Tyson didn't fight David Tua, but we still got big fights out of these guys.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you think is hurting? Like, you didn't get Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis, but you got Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, David Tua, and Holyfield. What do you think is hurting boxing the most today? Is it has it become more business than sport?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think it was a little bit more sport, even though it was business. But like you said, it was more people were trying to make fights out of it, and I think it was a little bit more sport. I think that now the companies are battling a little bit more instead, and the fighters are actually getting more into the business as well now. You know what I'm saying? Before we didn't have all this social media, we couldn't talk to Mike Coppinger or Twitter, and you either had to know these guys on the telephone, which was personal, or you didn't get the call. So people like my dad, had hard times. My dad never even got a world title shot. So we're in a different age. We're in the age of technology and communication. I think it's a lot. Everybody's got a little bit more power in their own hand. People are using YouTube. There's all this new media now. So it's a good and a bad thing.
Okay. And one last question. This come from a fan. I saw it early and I memorized it. So if I don't say it word for word, a lot of people don't know that your father was a fighter. Somebody asked, which one of your dad's fights have you watched the most?
Oh man, I would say all of them. I didn't watch probably all of them. He fought Dwight Muhammad Qawi. I like that fight because all his fights.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's studied. Which one did you study the most?
Study the most. All of them too. I watch certain things about them because I'm very similar. My frame is very similar to his. Um, so certain fights, I just go over and over and over. Most of them are when he was kind of in his prime and most scariest. But I watched his older fights too, just to see him, see what a shade of himself would look like. So yeah, but I'm definitely a student of him for sure.
All right. Somebody said Hunter, the best American heavyweight right now. All right. And then last but not least, man, Prime Michael Hunter versus Prime Michael Hunter father. Who wins, man?
Dang.
Come on, Mike.
Hey.
Is your daddy there right now? If you're there right now, don't answer.
No, man, that would be a sight to see, but I don't know. I feel like I'm technically better than him. He only had like 44 amateur fights. I had 144 amateur fights. But
won the Golden Gloves. Come on, man. Tell it, man. Won the Golden Gloves.
Yeah,
went to nationals.
National. I only lost twice in the amateurs as in America. Almost only time I lost was overseas. I got So, but the type of fighter he was. To get up. The shortest notice fight I've ever heard was that moment he got in. He was watching a fight and a fight fell out, and he literally had his stuff in the trunk and put it on and fought and beat him. So, sometimes it's more about the energy and the tenacity of the guy. You know what I'm saying? So, when it comes to tenacity and reading a person, that's something that I learned off of him. So, I don't know if I could take it there.
Okay, and then I know I said last one, man. You keep saying stuff.
Smooth.
I'm just curious, man. When you have a father that actually boxed into sport,
Mhm.
What is that like growing up as a kid? Because it's like you growing up saying to yourself, I don't think I can whoop him yet. I ain't there yet.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then if you come home and he got them boxing gloves out front, you like, oh man, what did I do? What I fuck up at?
yeah, yeah. You know, I've been boxing like before I even knew it was actual like I could compete. You know, my dad always used to have me in the grass in the yard. You know, boxing older kids and somebody a little bit more mature that should be beating me up. You know, so I kind of was always kind of put to a little tough challenge. Um, but growing up watching him, I was always amazed. I never even had the slightest idea that I could think I could whoop him. And it's only until this day and age that I'm around the same age, and I'm still in debates. But I it was so normal for me to watch him spar. People like Mike Tyson and all these other famous people that it was kind of regular. It was kind of a regular thing to me. I didn't really. I guess I didn't really know what I was watching. So I think boxing became a little natural because of that. I constantly was watching my dad uh, you know, do what he do in the gym. I loved going to the boxing gym with him, and I wasn't even boxing, but just being around him and watching the energy and how they move around that gym. When they start talking crap and bar none, and what I'm saying, the best defense bar none. When they start talking all that, those are the days I missed.
Mhm.
I didn't miss at all.
Right. Well, Mike, man, we want to thank you for taking time out. We didn't mean to go this long, but it happens,
Oh, love, man, I love it.
Oh, man, it happens, man. Sometimes, man. Um, Shout out, let everybody know when's your next fight you got coming up, and how they can follow you on social media to keep up with everything that's going on with Michael Hunter.
It's November 22nd. Supposed to be. We're pushing. I mean November 2nd. My bad. I said 22nd. November 2nd. It's supposed to be November 2nd, but it's getting a little tight. I still don't know have an opponent quite yet. Nothing signed. So I'm hoping to get something though quick. I know they got Triller got a lot of things going on. They got the Cambosas and Tiafimo card, and then they got some other big versus thing they ain't talked about quite yet. And I'm just waiting for them to start announcing some stuff so I can see where I'm at.
That's what's up, man. And tell everybody where they can follow you at. Shout out your social media so they can follow you on there.
Yeah, Michael Bounty Hunter on Twitter, and Michael Hunter Roman numeral 2 on or II on Twitter.
All right, man. And as always, man, go to threekingsboxing.com for the latest what's going on in the sport of boxing. I want to thank my man Michael Wilson for joining us. I want to definitely thank Mr. Hunter for joining us. And shout out to Mr. Lee Bates for making this for working with me and him talking back and forth for making this happen. Shout out to him for that. All right, Mike, man, we hope to definitely be talking to you again. As soon as you get an opponent, we find out who it is. We hope to be definitely
Sure.
talking to you, man, soon, man. Everybody, man, want to thank you guys for joining us. Three Kings Boxing, Michael Hunter,
Man,
appreciate you.
it was a pleasure, man. Yeah, I love the questions. Interview was dope. Let's continue to rock.